Story 1. My husband, 50, has dumbfounded that I, a 45 female, am leaving him because he became broke. My husband and I fell in love 25 years ago and married. I supported him, and he was lucky to fall into a career where he failed upwards. I have a comfortable job, so while it doesn't pay well, I can expect a reasonable pension when I retire. He is a serial cheater. I found out when I was 30. I was devastated that he cheated once, but I rationalized that it was a one-time mistake. I later found out that he would cheat constantly and had cheated throughout our marriage. I lost any belief I had in love because I believed that he would be one man who would never cheat. My prior boyfriend had cheated on me. My dad cheated on my mom. I grew up hearing that a man is only as loyal as his options, and my husband had a lot of options. He also had a lot of cash to flash. Honestly, I stayed for the money. If I was going to get cheated on, why not in a comfortable life? I didn't have to do chores. I didn't have to worry about money. I'm a relatively modest person in some ways, so I wouldn't spend money on a nice car, a luxurious house, or expensive food. However, I invested in my face and body for beauty and health. My husband has a massive gambling problem, and he lost his cushy job. He can't manage to find another one that pays well. He thought I would stay by his side and help him rebuild. I told him that I wanted a divorce. There was no point in being married to him if he didn't have money. I retained a lawyer and served him divorce papers. My lawyer recommended I get out before my husband started draining retirement accounts. I have no desire to date again. I can survive on my own. I enjoy my job, which pays me enough for a modest, comfortable living. He was dumbfounded and very hurt. Am I the idiot for leaving my cheater husband when he became poor? So he cheated and has a gambling problem. What a catch. No thank you. You are not the idiot. He played you and got played back. Well played you. But it's a possibility that you may have to give him part of your retirement account in the divorce. When I divorced many years ago, I got a portion of my ex's $401,000, so please check with your lawyer on that. That's why it's recommended she gets out before he starts draining his retirement accounts. The same reason you stayed is the same reason you're leaving. Money. What kept you in the marriage no longer exists. You had a mutually beneficial relationship. He cheated, and you knew but liked the extra income. When one side doesn't get the benefit anymore, it's time to cut your losses and go. If he wanted total loyalty from you, he should have given that to you. Get free and enjoy the rest of your life, right? It's so bizarre to me that people will cheat on their spouses and then have the nerve to talk about unconditional loyalty, like you get what you give to others. If someone disrespects you in the biggest way, don't pull the shocked Pikachu face when they treat you the same. But I can't imagine sticking around for 15 years for the money. You don't get those years back. Doesn't seem worth it to me. Everyone's the idiot here. He's a cheater. And you wasted your life on a cheater. Lol. Everyone's the idiot here is the right answer. Her husband is a scumbag gambling cheater, and she is a shallow gold digger, spending your life married to someone you don't care about and ditching them when the money stops. What comes around goes around, lady. It would be funny if you had to pay alimony since you now earn more. You wasted your life, Opie, and look what you got. I disagree, since in Opie's experience from former relationships and her parents' marriage, all men are cheaters anyway. She doesn't need another relationship just to get cheated on again. So if she spent those years in the marriage caring for herself, maybe pursuing her hobbies and interests, and living a comfortable life, I wouldn't call them wasted. Story 2. A 35 male, my dad, 65, always claimed to be family-oriented. But by that he meant his siblings, which is good. I have 2 brothers and a sister, and I'll help them out, be there for them, etc. But my dad always took it to the next level. They always took priority. He spent many nights with them instead of us. We were not invited. My mom pretty much raised us on our own. He missed a lot of events. The most egregious was when my sister, then only 6 years old, had major surgery and needed a lot of help recovering. Around that time, my uncle decided to paint his entire house and ask my brother and another uncle to help. Instead of helping my mom, his wife with their daughter. He did that and was barely home. My mom and dad often argued about this at length. My siblings and I would express disappointment that these things took priority over us. He should hang out with extended family one-on-one, but I wished he was with us more. He told us to stop being selfish. I will say, when he was around, he did stress the importance of my siblings and me getting along. He said we'd be all we had when he and our mom were gone. In turn, we're all very close. But I think a large part of that is we spent a lot of time raising each other alongside our mom. One of my brothers, my sister, and I agreed we didn't want to be the same when we had families. My other brother, the youngest, didn't agree. This has led to some issues. I'm now married with 3 kids myself, including a newborn. My youngest brother and his wife are doing major repairs on the house. To save money, they're doing the lion's share themselves, but they expect that to also extend to my siblings and me. My sister offered to watch their kids when needed but said she couldn't help much outside that. My older brother couldn't help more as his kids are out of the house. I said I'd help when possible, but my wife is my priority. My young brother recently asked me to spend the weekend helping him with repairs. It will be a lot of work, about 12-hour days. I said I could help a few hours one day, but my wife is recovering from a C-section, and we have the deal that I look after our 2 older kids, both toddlers. I have to return to work soon, so I want to help her as much as possible. We have a mother's helper when I return to work, but I'm all she has for now. My brother got mad and says this needs to get done, and he can't put it off. I said this is all I can offer. He called her dad, who called me and said I should help. But when I explained that my wife had no other help and couldn't do it alone for 2 days, he said my siblings needed to come first because we're all we have. I said that's not true. We each have families, and we can't always prioritize siblings. He kept arguing, and I said I wasn't going to be him, abandoning his wife for days on end and neglecting his family. He called me an ungrateful brat. My mom says she agrees with my actions, but I should have just stuck to them. I wasn't helping. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Yes, your siblings are your siblings and are what you have, but prioritizing them over your home life is rough on a marriage. That is your home. You learned from your father's mistakes. You'd be willing to help your brother, but you must help your spouse. And weirdly, Dad is suggesting you are ungrateful. Who are you supposed to be grateful to? And for what? You have a newborn, other children, and an impaired wife. Why aren't your brother and father knocking on the door to help you? Where is their gratitude? Who will ensure you've had enough sleep to succeed at your job? Ungrateful, your wife gave you children for goodness sake. Your younger brother may have been less affected than you and your other siblings have. As the youngest, he may have had more support from older siblings, filling the gap his dad left. Your dad and his drama are no longer your concern. You're a fully functioning adult, and your perspective on this is, quite frankly, better than your dad's. So tell him to butt out of your life. And if he's such a family man himself, he can go and help with the repairs himself. Or he can shut up. Am I morally obligated to pay back Parents Plus loans? I had to take out direct student loans for myself, about $20,000. 6 months after I graduated, my mom informed me that there was an additional $20,000 in Parent Plus loans I had no idea about but had to pay. I was devastated. My mom agreed to pay interest only until I paid off the $20,000 in my name. I'm now debt-free on paper, but still have this issue of the Parent Plus loan. Here's the thing, I have 2 married siblings and each received help paying for their wedding, approximately $10,000. I'm nearly 30 at this point and gay. I will never receive money for marriage because they disagree with gay marriage being moral. I clearly disagree. I've never been happier since I recently came out. I strongly feel being gay is not a choice, and is morally okay. All of this would be irrelevant, except that I've asked the money that they've always committed to my wedding until recently to be reallocated to these Parent Plus loans, but was told no. They reasoned that a wedding is a fun family activity they can participate in. So that, combined with the fact that I had no idea about these loans when they were signed up for, The loans are not in my name, and I know they can pay them off immediately. Makes me feel like I'm no longer obligated. Or at a minimum, I would be okay with paying everything down to $10,000, and they can cover the remainder. However, my struggle is that I do recognize this was to pay for my education, and I do have a well-paying career right now because of my degree. While it would be financially challenging for a while, I would be able to pay it off. So am I the idiot for refusing to pay Parent Plus loans? Info: I graduated almost 8 years ago and have known about the loan for approximately 7 years. Yes, my siblings also had student loans, but no Parent Plus loan specifically. It's a parent loan that you were never informed of and never consented to. The loan was taken out in your mom's name, and she's financially responsible for it. If she struck a deal with you to take it out for you to get the better rate, and then you'd pay her back for it, that would be one thing. But that didn't happen. She chose to secretly take out money so she could pay it back. You are not the idiot. Shouldn't the student have been aware that these loans were taken out? The student is billed directly and can access their financial information through the university. They know the total costs and the loans they took out. Student billing is not a black box. None of this should be a mystery or surprise. Unless their parents did a complete scam and kept the money, that is, right? There were an additional $20,000 in loans, but 10 each went to both siblings. I didn't think about it until your comment that they might have given it away lol. I would contact the financial aid department at your school and find out how the funds were dispersed. If there was a Parent Plus loan, it would have gone there first, and any leftover balance would have been sent to your parents as a check. I don't think your wedding stuff or your being gay is particularly relevant to how you should think about this. Update: I will try to find out exactly how the money was used. If it truly went to my education, I would pay it all back. I don't know how it was spent. I will separate the idea of wedding money and the student loans. Thanks to everything you all said here. I think I'm just hurt because they believe I'm immoral and sinful, and so I'm holding the wedding funds against them wrongfully. Thank you for all. We live in different states, and she just started dating this guy, although he's been a part of her friend group since college. This was also the first time I met her boyfriend. This past weekend I was in a city near hers and called to see if she wanted to meet up. She had plans with a friend, so she invited me to come along, which I did. We had a fun day with the group and eventually went to dinner. Nothing was out of the ordinary until the check came. A boyfriend took the check, read aloud the amount, and split the bill and tip, which we rounded to $10 a person amongst the table. Then he placed his credit card for the server to take away. Everyone handed in the cash for their portion. I guess I gave off a look. So my sister explained that he doesn't like to go to the bank. So whenever the group goes out, he pays with his card and the group gives him cash. I didn't think further about it, so I handed in my portion. The next day, I couldn't find my prescription glasses in my hotel room or rental car, and I knew I had them yesterday. I remember the last time I took it off was when we got to the restaurant. On my way to lunch with my sister and some people from last night, I stopped by last night's restaurant to ask if they found a pair of sunglasses and was greeted by the same server, but this time she looked angry. The short of it was that I found out my sister's boyfriend only tipped her $10 for our group of 12 people. I was taken aback because based on our split, she should have gotten $120 in tips. I asked to see the receipt and it was $10. I apologized and gave her another $10. When I got to lunch, I immediately asked him to give me back $10. That started the questions from the group that descended into an argument until the restaurant asked us to leave. My sister is now mad at me for causing a scene and embarrassing her in front of her friends and the people in the restaurant. Not the idiot. He stole your money and his or their friends. If he does this all the time, then I assume it happens a lot more often. It became an argument because his friends realized he ripped them and the servers off. He even stole from your sister and still had the gall to enter a relationship with her. You didn't embarrass your sister. If she defended him, she embarrassed herself. Yep, and let's be blunt about it. How else does your sister propose to explain it? He paid for the whole bill, including the tip on his card. You have a copy of the receipt to prove that only a $10 tip was paid. The 11 of you each handed over $10 for the tip. So what's their explanation for the other $100? He is stealing. I would guess from your sister's reaction that she knew the full reason why he pays for the whole meal with his card and pockets everyone else's contribution. She probably benefits from the extra spending money. Story 3. My husband 26 and I, female 25, have 3 kids. Our eldest is a preteen, and then we have a preschooler and a baby. My husband's sister 30 is getting married. Our relationship with her could be better. She's always making unnecessary comments. I know that she dislikes me a lot. She hasn't liked me since the first time my then boyfriend introduced us together. Then, when I got pregnant, I was still in school and my boyfriend had just started college. He dropped out, and we needed a lot of support from our families to settle down. So my sister-in-law thinks that I messed up her brother's and family's life because I didn't get an abortion at the time. She's always been rather hostile. We mostly only see her at family gatherings. She doesn't visit or anything, and honestly, that's better. She's caused problems before because she says that my husband was the golden child in that she was the scapegoat. And then when I got pregnant, their parents basically adopted me and spoiled me because I was with my husband. So she sent invitations for her wedding. She sent my husband his invitation, which had his name and our 3 kids' names, not mine. My hubby asked her about this, and she said, "I'm not pleasant to be around, so I'm not invited." He told her that it was extremely disrespectful since I was his wife. They argued a bit through text, and my husband told her not to count on him or the kids because they were not going. She blamed it on my hubby being immature. My in-laws tried to mediate between them. She replied to them saying that she wasn't surprised they were taking our side. They argued, and my in-laws said that since she had this attitude, they were not going to the wedding. Immediately after, she started blaming me. She said this was all my fault because I could have just accepted that I wasn't invited and allowed my husband and children to exist without me for a couple of hours. She also called me stupid, uneducated, spoiled, and said I have a princess syndrome. I told my husband and his parents this, and they told some other family members, and now apparently a lot of them canceled their assistance as well. She keeps blaming it all on me. Yes, I didn't tell my husband to go, I admit, so I think that's why I may be the idiot. I could have prevented such a big drama, and I didn't. Also, I think that she's just an idiot in general, but in this case she might be for expecting my husband to be okay with her leaving me behind. It wasn't up to you to say anything. He made his choice. An invitation isn't a summons, and she didn't want to accept the consequences of her not inviting you, which was for him to choose not to come. She didn't prepare for the outcome, and now wants to blame you for her choice. Too bad for her. You are not the idiot. I'm very curious about why the sister hates Op so much. I bet the parents could have used some, if not all, of the sister's college money back in the beginning. And it may very well be she was cast aside because Op was pregnant with a first grandchild. Also, the brother could have been the golden child between them growing up. And when he got Op pregnant, Op became more important than the sister. Op mentioned getting a lot of support from his parents, so I'm guessing that's where a lot of their time, money, and attention went. And sister-in-law's resentful. It would explain the golden child comments as well. However, it's not Op's fault. If the sister was the scapegoat, it seems she's now trying to make the Op the scapegoat. If the sister-in-law has been mistreated by her family all these years, it feels like she's better off with them not going to her wedding and has no reason to take it out on Op. Thanks for listening.